Hello and welcome back to Getting There, where we're always surviving, we're sometimes thriving, and we are just trying our best to make it. I'm Amanda, and I'm here with my co-host.
And I'm Ellie, and this podcast is produced by her campus at Loyola University, Chicago.
So we've finally made it through our final exams, and we've gotten some much-needed rest. We are back today in a brand new year to talk about none other than New Year's resolutions. So resolutions are a bit weird for college students, I think, since the calendar year and the school year don't line up. But nevertheless, we're excited to kick off a new semester in a few weeks and discuss some of our goals we have going forward.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I do feel like this period between like New Year's and the school year still doesn't really exist as time for me.
Yeah, it's just like, kind of a limbo state.
Time off. Yeah, exactly. But before we get into our resolutions for this year, I'm kind of curious, what were your 2020 resolutions, and do you think that you like successfully achieved them from last year?
Well, 2020 was a bit of a hard year.
Yeah,
obviously,
I think we can all say that.
The biggest understatement of all time. I honestly, have a hard time remembering my resolutions because most of them just kind of flew out the window when COVID happened. I do know that one of my resolutions was to talk to people more because I'm generally just kind of shy and introverted, but I'm also fascinated by other people, and so I just I want to talk to people. It just scares me. But then
put yourself out there.
Yeah, exactly. Then quarantine happens, so not much social interaction this year. So there's that. But one of my successful resolutions was cooking because I wanted to learn how to cook before I moved into my apartment and had to cook for myself, and I definitely did that. So that was fun. I did a lot of experimenting during quarantine, and then now I'm living in an apartment and cooking for myself almost every day. So look at me.
Yeah, well, I feel like you've definitely successfully done that one. I see all of your baking and cooking pictures on your blog, posts on Instagram, and it inspires me as well to learn how to cook.
Thank you so much. I love that. What about you?
And as far as I was going to say for you, as far as social interaction, we definitely met a lot more people through Zoom and stuff this year, just with recruiting members to her campus. Mm-hmm. We had to meet people in a completely online, digital interaction, which was so weird than what we're used to. Yeah. It's almost harder than meeting someone in person.
Right. I'm so much better. Even though I am still a little scared to talk to people in person, but I'm so much better in person than I am on the phone or even in a Zoom meeting. It's just I don't know why. It's just scary.
There should be a word for that, digital anxiety or something.
Yeah, seriously.
I think that we have it for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, my New Year's resolution last year was, I've been, getting into, EDM a lot. I just love EDM. I love going to raves and, concerts where, it's just super heavy, electronic music, which is a little bit embarrassing, but I'm also kind of proud of it.
No, I love that.
So there's, this special kind of dance that I guess people do, and it's called shuffling, and you could probably look up videos of it online and stuff like that. It's just so fun, and it's just, all of this footwork that people do, and people will just do it at raves, and it's super cool, and people in the rave community are really good at it. So it was my New Year's resolution to learn how to shuffle, and I watched so many TikTok videos, so many YouTube videos, and I've been a dancer for most of my life, so I was I can probably pick it up, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I did it. I learned, the basic moves, and I can, do some little freestyles. I'm not, super advanced at it, but, I kind of accomplished that goal, which I'm low-key proud of.
Yeah, that is so cool. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Anytime I see so many, dancing videos on TikTok or something, and I'm just truly astonished by things that people can do. My hips simply don't move.
Some people are really talented on there. That's so funny. But yeah, when all of this is over and concerts and festivals are finally able to happen again, I know I have my go-to dance moves to pull out, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Some highlights of a weird and crappy year.
Yeah, well, quarantine actually kind of helped me accomplish that goal because I just had so much free time and absolutely nothing to do. So I was okay, I guess I'll get some exercise in and try to learn this dance move.
Yeah.
And I would just make TikToks in the alley behind my apartment every day.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
It was funny. Yeah, but moving on to this year's resolutions, should we get into them?
Yeah, sure, let's do it. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I'll go first. I have a few. I have quite a few, actually, and, like, I think that some of my family members were, like, warning me, like, it's a lot to, like, make a lot of resolutions because it's hard to stick to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt really ambitious. Like, new energy, new year.
Yeah,
like, I was just sick of 2020. I just feel like...
Yeah, I've had that same energy, too. I'm, like, I've had the time to kind of, like, sit and process, and so now I'm, like, I'm ready to get back out into the world. Not, like, you know, physically yet, but I'm just ready to do things again.
Yeah, I do feel like my presence and, like, my vibrations are, like, shifting into, like, a different version of myself. And, like, I think most of the resolutions that I did are, like, geared towards, like, I don't want to say self-improvement, but, like, self-care kind of.
Yes,
just, like, doing things that are going to make me feel better. Okay, I'm excited. This will be, like, good to compare because, like, maybe I'll pick up some inspiration from yours
exactly.
as well.
I have told my family I'm dubbing 2021 the year of the self. Like how Chinese zodiac has, like, year of the dragon and year of the mouse and stuff, or I think it's the rat. 2021 is the year of the self. I am speaking that into existence.
I love it. I'm so on board with that. I'm gonna, like, make that into a graphic or something. We're putting that on all of our social media.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. That would be so fun.
A good idea. Well, my first one is I want to listen to a new artist every month because I love getting into new music and, like, I just feel like I don't listen to as many genres as I'd like to.
Yes,
and
okay,
so I want to, like,
agree.
listen to
That's a good one.
Yeah. Literally the last 2 months have just been, like, Taylor Swift. I was
going to say that. My 2020 Spotify Wrapped was basically just, you listen to no new music this year. Heart.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My number one song was August from Folklore. Do you know that one?
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, I remember, like, it gave me all the stats of, like, how many times I've listened to it, and it was, like, this one day, like, August 28th, you listened to it 57 times. I was like, that cannot be real. Like, Taylor needs to sponsor me for that. It's so
That's
funny.
Hilarious. Yeah. My number one song was Talk Too Much by Coin, which I think has been my number one song for, like, the past 3 years or something. Like, I don't know why. It's
on my Spotify Wrapped every year.
Yeah,
I remember,
it's just
like, listening
on every
to it
single one of my playlists.
Yes. When I was in high school, like, I would listen to that one religiously, and I still do now because it's so, like, nostalgic to me now. Mm-hmm. It's so good. Yeah. I love Coin, honestly.
Yeah, they're great.
But yeah, I want to discover, like, more R&B artists because I've been listening to a lot of SZA as well lately, and I realized that, like, I really like that genre, and... Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just so many new people to discover, and I haven't been doing that, so that's my first resolution.
I love that. I might steal that. So my resolutions are kind of, I have, like, one big kind of, like, blanket statement that's one of those, like, vague things that you can't really measure that they say not to make a resolution for, so I have a bunch of, like, sub ones underneath that. So my big blanket one is just to be kind to myself because I have just done a really terrible job of that this year, or last year, I should say. So that's just, like, my big blanket thing. And so one of the sub things I have under it is to make more time for art. Because
I love that.
I used to be so, like, when I was 4 years old until probably, like, 3rd or 4th grade, I was convinced that I was going to grow up to be an artist. And I have, like, I was literally just going through some stuff earlier today. I have all kinds of, like, boxes and boxes of colored pencils and markers and, like, all these kind of art supplies and stuff. And it's, like, I had such drive at 4 years old. Like, I need to get some of that energy back. So I just want to, like, whether it's painting or coloring or even just doodling, like, I just want to get more back into that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something that I'm, like, super good at. I wouldn't say that I'm, like, very talented, but, you know, I can do some doodles here and there. And I think it's just very cathartic, I guess, to just kind of, like, sit down and, like, make something, and then you have a finished product, and you can be like, hey, look at this.
Yes, and I think the process of making art can be very therapeutic as well, because it's just, like, whatever's on your mind, you can just literally create whatever you want, and it can express whatever you're feeling at that time. And I'm like the same way. Like, for some reason I had the same dream as you. When I was younger, I was like convinced I was going to be an artist. Like, I loved my art classes the most in elementary school. Like, I just remember, like, one day before I had to go to school, like, I told my dad, like, I just hated math so much, and I told him, like, Dad, like, I just wasn't made to do math. I was made to do art. And, like, so dramatic. I was just the most dramatic child, but he still, like, reminds me of that moment to this day. And I think it's hilarious that I had the motivation, like you said, like we both did. But yeah, I want to get more into it too. I just started bullet journaling yesterday because I wanted to, like, write down my New Year's resolutions in, like, a cute way. And now I'm like, okay, I need to do something creative, like, at least once a week, you know?
Yes, yeah. I've been trying to bullet journal for the past couple of years, and it's just been very, like, hit or miss for me. I don't think I can commit to, like, making a spread every week and stuff like that. Yeah. Because, like, I still just have a planner that I use for school. So I think I decided this year I'm going to make my bullet journal just, like, a list of accomplishments, basically. Because that's another one of my New Year's resolutions underneath Be Kind to Yourself is to, like, acknowledge and celebrate my accomplishments. Because for some reason I'm just very bad at that.
Yeah, well, we never give ourselves enough credit. Like, we're always our own worst critic, so it can be hard.
And so, for years, I just made, in my bullet journal, I just made, like, massive to-do lists that's like, of course I'm never going to get this stuff done, and then I don't feel accomplished when I don't check everything off. So I think I'm just going to keep it as kind of, like, a record of things that I accomplished. So, like, books I've read or movies I've watched or, like, fun memories and stuff that I have. So, hopefully that's cool, because I think that will be better.
You're also going to look back after, like, this year on that and think, like, wow, I actually, like, enjoyed these things. Like, I accomplished these things, I read these books or watched these movies, and it's just going to be more fun to look back on than, like, a half-done to-do list that you didn't finish.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, it's too hard to do a spread, like, every week. I used to be really on top of it, but that was more when I used the bullet journal as my planner, and now I use just a regular planner. And I think the bullet journal I like to use as more of just a creative outlet. Even if I don't, like, write in it every day, like, just making the spread itself and just writing down, like, I don't know, fun headers. I think that's fun to me.
I have a whole board on Pinterest of, like, different fonts and little doodles to put in my bullet journal.
I think it's so cool to just see, like, how artistic other people are with it. Like, I'm amazed. I'm so amazed.
Yeah, I agree. I can do, like, I've been saying, I can do doodles, but I can do, like, only very basic doodles. And some people are, like, out here, like, watercoloring all these pages and stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow.
I know. I really like how some people treat it as, like, a scrapbook almost, and they layer, like, different types of paper or, like, pictures and images. Yes. I would like to do something like that. Yeah.
I'm kind of starting that also almost, except in, like, a different, because I have a really old, it's like a sketchbook. I had to buy it for an art class in, like, 7th grade, and I only used, like, 5 pages.
When you were a dedicated artist, right?
Right, exactly. When I was committed to the craft. But now, so I have this, like, big sketchbook, and I think I'm going to, because I like to keep track of the books that I've read by writing down quotes from the books that I want to remember. So I think I'm going to make kind of, like, artistic pages for the quotes that I put, and I can put them in that, like, sketchbook and have a little, like,
that's a really cute idea.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I want to try
it's good in theory, but we'll see if I actually stick to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on one later today, because I did finish a book yesterday. So we'll see how the rest of the year goes.
Yeah, definitely record all the books you read. That's, like, another one of my resolutions is I want to read a book a month, but not, like, a book for school. Like, I feel like I did read a lot last year, like, more than I give myself credit for, but it wasn't anything I actually enjoyed. Like, it was for school. So I just went to Barnes & Noble last week to get a new planner for the year, and I bought a new book for myself. It's a fiction one that I have been reading, and I've really liked it, and I was, like, surprised that I, like, got into it enough, because I thought that TikTok had just ruined my attention span forever. So I was like, oh yes, I'm able to focus on this, and I'm, like, getting into the story. Like, it felt so good. So yeah, that's my other New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I always make a little, like, on Goodreads, they have a little, like, challenge every year. You can set the amount of books that you want to read. And when I first did it, I was like, I don't know how many books I read. A lot. And I said, I'm going to read 60 books this year. And I think that year I read, like, 12. Like, I had no idea what was, like, a good amount. So I think one a month is definitely, like, a good, reasonable amount.
Yeah, I thought that was, like, doable enough. You know, I don't want to, like, overwhelm myself with, like, I have to get this book done, but I just want to, like, enjoy it and keep myself accountable for that, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I did read quite a few books last year, but again, a lot of them were for school. And, like, most of them I still enjoyed, but I don't know, like, it feels different than, like, picking out a book yourself and then completing it, and then you're like, zen.
I agree, for sure. And even just the act of going to the bookstore and, like, I looked at all the covers and, like, read some of, like, the back covers and the inside pages, and, like, that was so fun, just to, like, get a little taste of all the different stories. Like, I had such a good time.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Armadillo's Pillow in Rogers Park?
Yeah, I have, like, one time. It was a while ago, though. I want to revisit.
I am literally obsessed with that store. Anytime I'm feeling sad, I'm like, well, I guess I just have to go to Armadillo's Pillow. Like, that's
look at the books.
The only option.
I love that. Yeah.
And I usually walk out with, like, at least 4 or 5 books. Like, it's insane.
Oh, are they, like, good prices there?
Yeah, they're, like, I don't know. I think a lot of them are used books, but most of them are in pretty good condition. But books are usually, like, $5.
Support local businesses, too.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I want to, like, work there, but I think it's, like, family-owned, and I don't think they hire anyone outside the family, so.
Unless they're gonna adopt you,
Yeah. I mean, I'd be fine with that, but.
I've always wanted to join a book club. Like, I don't know if, like, I could ever, like, really commit to it, but I thought that would always be, like, a cool idea. And then I saw a tweet today, and it was like, instead of book clubs, like, I just want a group of people to analyze the meaning behind Taylor Swift lyrics. And I was like, okay, I could do that as well.
Yeah,
like, that sounds so fun. Yeah.
That's so fun. Oh my gosh. My grandma is in a book club, and I'm like, that, I'm seeing myself in, like, 60 years. Like, it is right in front of me.
Yeah. Like, retirement, and then book club, straight into the book club. That's hilarious. I love it. Well, what were your other New Year's resolutions under your big goal of kinder to yourself?
Yes. So one of them I actually mentioned in one of the CC Corner articles we did last year. That was, like, October goals. And it's literally just to stretch. Because my body is just so, like, tight from just sitting at, like, my computer all day. And I don't want to, like, commit to any, like, super crazy kind of, like, workout schedule or anything, because that just never goes well. So I'm just gonna move my body in ways that feel good, and one of those ways is stretching. So that's one of my goals.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that I also want to do more of that. I've, like, for the last, like, multiple years, like, I think ever since I got to college, I've always been interested in, like, creating a yoga routine and just, like, incorporating, like, yoga into my life, because I think it can be, like, a really good, like, nice, gentle movement when you're, like, not feeling a good workout, and you just need to stretch and, like, move your body. But, God, like, I have the hardest time, like, making that part of my routine.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, difficult. I'm a generally pretty active person. Like, I say I sit at my computer all day, and, like, I do. But I also, like, squeeze in some other, like, activities and other forms of movement and such. But yoga, for some reason, I just, like, it sounds so good in theory, and then I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. Like, I don't know why, but this year, man, we're gonna do it.
It's difficult because, I don't know, other kinds of workouts, you can totally just zone out. And, like, you don't have to really, like, use your brain to focus. But I do find in yoga, like, I have to think about what I'm doing. I have to think about my breath. I have to, like, actually be present. And, like, that can be a lot of work to be, like, mindful like that, you know?
That's such a good point. I didn't think of that. Yeah, you are
I think that's why I'm bad at it.
Yeah. I'm also, like, super not flexible at all. Like, this kind of goes into earlier when I said my hips just don't move, like, with dancing. I am not flexible. And I know you don't necessarily have to be to, like, do yoga. And, like, obviously doing yoga will improve that. But it's just some things that I see people do, I'm just like, whoo, my body does not turn that way.
The very, like, advanced yoga people, and they have such strength, like, such muscular strength just to hold themselves in such difficult positions for so long. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I think we could work our way up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it is so hard because I would find it so much easier if, like, you and me could just go to a yoga class every week together.
Right,
and, like, we would keep ourselves accountable. But with COVID, like, it's up to you to do that yoga on your own, you know?
Yeah, and you have to, like, pull up a video and you're like, am I doing this right? I don't know. I can't see the TV.
Yeah, you can't look over to anyone in a class or in the mirror, you know? You're just kind of, like, figuring it out. So, well, hopefully things will open up, like, after this vaccine gets distributed and, like, someday we'll be able to do yoga in a class setting, and
I really, I do miss group fitness classes. Those were fun.
As well. Yeah. I decided, like, just something I want to do in my life at some point, I don't know when, is, like, get certified to, like, lead group fitness.
Wait, same. Like, I was literally talking to my parents about that a couple weeks ago. I was like,
I love that.
I work out. Like, I should get paid to do it.
No, like, yeah, we totally should. And I, I love dance so much because I've always done it. And, like, I think I would be the best Zumba instructor. Like, I should just do something that and, like, pump people up. Like, that's a goal of mine now.
I would take a Zumba class with you as my instructor.
Heck yes, thank you. So maybe this year I'll, like, figure out, like, where to get it done, like, get the certification and just get the ball rolling with it, you know?
Yeah,
because you could do that from anywhere, too. Like, no matter, like, where your career, like, takes you, you could have that as, like, your side hustle or just, like, something you enjoy on the side to do. Like,
and that's what I was saying, especially, like, if you are going to set aside, like, an hour 3 days a week to work out for yourself anyway, like, you might as well get paid for it.
Exactly. I love that. Wow. First we wanted to be artists, and now we want to be... Yeah, I don't think I could do yoga either. I think the certification for that is a little more intense as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, my other New Year's resolution that goes along with yours from last year was to use my Instant Pot more and cook with that more often, because I got it as a birthday gift last year, and I just haven't used it as much as I should, and it's such a nice piece of cooking equipment. Like, I really like it too. It's so easy. I just, like, am never making elaborate recipes, you know?
Right. I don't have an Instant Pot, but I do have, like, a slow cooker crock pot, and I've made soup, like, a couple of times. But yeah, I really should use it more, because it's so nice. You just throw things in, like, whenever you're ready, and then at night it's just boom, fresh hot meal for you.
It's just boom, ready. No, yeah, I think it's so useful, and I think that it would bring me some joy to, like, once a month or, like, once every 2 weeks, just, like, get the ingredients I need and, like, make myself, like, a meal from scratch that I'm, like, really gonna enjoy. Or, like, cook for, like, a friend or something. Like, that would always be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my other
I would
one.
love to have her campus potluck if that was, like, safe and acceptable.
Oh, yes. I know.
That would be so great.
I have, like, the COVID blues right now, just thinking about, like, all the things for this semester that probably won't be able to happen.
Yeah, I know.
It's so difficult. Yeah, I don't know how to navigate it yet, but we'll figure it out. Well, do you have any more resolutions to share?
Well, one of them I've actually already accomplished, so that's cool.
No way.
I wanted to, like, find more hobbies, because like I like reading, and so that, I guess that kind of also goes with, like, the whole art thing, but I was like, what do I do all day? I do school, and I go to the gym, and then I go to bed, like, so I actually just learned how to embroider, and so I'm gonna start embroidering things.
That's so cute. I love it.
End goal is to, like, thrift clothing items and then embroider them and then sell them. I don't know that I'm at that point yet, because I just learned how to do it, like, 2 days ago, but I did do some flowers sticking out of my little shirt pocket.
I saw that on your Instagram. That was adorable. So how did you learn? Did you just teach yourself, or, like, watch YouTube videos? Or?
Yeah, I watched YouTube videos, and, like, I had a giant bag of the string already from, like, friendship bracelets and stuff that I used to make. that I don't really do a whole lot of anymore. And then my mom just, like, had an embroidery hoop lying around. I was like, oh, okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, so then I just took some old fabric and I was just, like, following along with some YouTube videos and stuff and practicing. So we'll see how that progresses. I'm very excited, though.
Yes,
it does take
I think that's
a long
cool
time.
hobby.
That's one thing that I learned. It takes a long time. So it'll keep me occupied for a little while.
Yeah, but it'll be, like, a good thing to do that's not just, like, scrolling on social media.
Right,
know?
Exactly. And, like, I could even do it while watching TV or something like that, or, like, listening to a podcast or something. Like, it could be easily multitaskable. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It is now.
I think that's a word. I love that. That's cute. I think I should get into my friendship bracelets again. I usually make, like, so many in the summer. And then in the winter, like, I just drop that hobby, but I really enjoy it. Like, I think it's so fun. So maybe I'll get back into it.
Yeah, I think they're so cool. I could only ever do, like, super basic ones, but one of my roommates also makes friendship bracelets that are, like, very elaborate, and I'm just... Yeah. They're so cool.
YouTube is, like, the holy grail for, like, learning how to do anything.
Oh my gosh, seriously,
like,
yeah.
You just go on YouTube and someone's already done it, and they're going to show you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah. My other resolution that kind of goes along with this, like, I want to just take time away from, like, spending so much time on social media, and I want to meditate more, which is, like, really hard for me to also incorporate into my routine, similar to yoga. But I just feel like the more I practice it, like, the better I'll get at it. So I just need to, like, kind of stick through the part that's, like, hard and start small. Like, I've been doing, like, little 10-minute morning meditations.
Yeah.
And, like, that's enough for me right now. And then maybe I'll work my way up to, like, longer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think it helps with, like, mindfulness and just, like, staying present, I guess. Which my therapist is always telling me I need to do, so she'll be proud of me once I tell her I made that a goal.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah. I like how you're, like, starting small, because especially, like, if you were to look up a 45-minute meditation video, you'd be like, oh my god, I have to just sit here and think for 45 minutes, but yeah, starting with 10 minutes is like, a good way to move forward with
and I think with most resolutions, like, you have to start kind of small for yourself, especially if it's something that you've never tried before. Like, one thing that's so hard about resolutions is, like, sticking to them for the whole year. Like, most people set those goals that aren't, like, attainable or measurable, so it can be hard to actually accomplish it at the end of the year. And I know last year, like, with COVID, everything went out the window, so like, not a lot of us completed our New Year's resolutions, but even in the years before, I didn't know how to, like, set a goal for myself that I could actually complete. You know, they're always just kind of, like, lofty phrases that I'm gonna, like, say I'm gonna do.
I was basically just, like, do better.
Yeah, do better. That's, like, what most self-improvement stuff is, like, on the internet. You know what I mean? But yeah, I read an article from HuffPost, actually, which is just a fun little news outlet. And it said that by about, like, February, 80% of people have failed to stick to their resolutions. And I was a little bit surprised by that, because I feel like I keep mine a little bit longer than February, but at the same time, like we said, people just set, like, really unrealistic goals. Like, if you're gonna say, like, oh, like, I'm gonna run every day this year, like, no, that's so unrealistic. You're not gonna do that.
Yeah, especially if you have never run before, like...
that's
which
definitely most people haven't.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've struggled with in the past, is, like, I'm gonna work out every single day. Well, like, that's not even good for you, so why are you setting that goal to begin with?
Yeah, like, the onslaught of, like, just diet culture, like,
oh god,
New Year's resolutions, like, all of, like, that whole diet industry is, like, targeting you with so many messages right at January 1st, because that's when the most people are, like, joining a new gym or, like, trying to start a new workout routine. Like, it's actually, like, the worst time to be on social media or just, like, interacting with any kind of media, because you're gonna see some really toxic messages.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think I've seen, like, 5 Planet Fitness commercials in the past, like, 24 hours.
Yeah, I watched, like, YouTube videos this morning, and every single ad that I got before was about, like, working out, like, some other fitness routine. And I was like, can we just get a break?
Yeah.
Like, I tweeted the other day, I'm just going to repeat myself because not everyone that listens to this podcast follows me on Twitter. But, like, if you haven't heard this already, you do not need to diet in 2021. Like, just let your body exist.
Yes.
Like, just let it exist. We're so
Say
constantly,
like,
focused
in the back.
on, like, changing our body for, like, the summer or, like, for some type of year. And then you're not actually living your life in the moment. You're only focused on, like, what you're going to look like at some future point in time.
Right.
And that's no way to live.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
It is hard because there's such a, like, fine line between working out because you enjoy it and, like, for good movement and, like, because it feels good and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then because you have some other goal, like losing weight or something like that, like, there is a very fine line, and, like, they really just, they target you, like, right when you're on that line.
I so agree. Also, I think that, like, a lot of the fitness influencers or, like, quote, wellness influencers that are on, like, Instagram and social media right now have, like, disguised themselves as, like, wellness and it's really just diet culture in disguise, you know what I mean? Like, if you, like, you can say, like, you work out to feel good or you eat certain foods to feel good, but if that is still prioritizing, like, thinness over health, then it's diet culture.
Yes.
Like, it's not actual health.
Yes. I wish I could just say, like, size and health have nothing to do with each other.
They don't, and everyone, like, I could talk about, we have to do another episode on this, for sure.
Yes, we really should, honestly, because I think
I could talk about it for hours.
And it's, like, it's rampant on college campuses. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I definitely agree. We'll do a follow-up episode.
Follow-up episode for sure. But yeah, that same article that I talked about before mentions that, like, it's more helpful to rephrase your resolutions as something positive that you'd like to commit to rather than, like, something you want to stop, because they said it's, like, kind of impossible to, like, erase a certain behavior, you know what I mean? But you can definitely reframe that behavior or, like, do something else instead of that, you know what I mean? Like, it's this approach versus avoidance mindset, which I thought was super interesting.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah. I think that's kind of what a lot of, like, my goals are, like, finding more hobbies and, like, making time for art, because I do want to spend less time on social media. So
it's not like stop going on Instagram. You're like, do this instead of going on Instagram.
Yeah.
I like that a
that's
lot.
a good mindset, I think. And it's a lot of, it's like, it's more positive than negative. And I like that a lot. Trying to be,
I think,
very positive this year, unless it's a COVID test.
Yeah.
Saw that on Twitter. I can't take credit for that.
I love that. But I feel like, especially for people who are like, oh, I want to quit smoking, like, that mindset or, like, approach to it is going to be so much more fruitful than saying, like, oh, I just need to stop smoking. Like, they should say, like, oh, I want to do something other for my health, like, do some other, like, positive health thing, you know, that's going to lead them to just stop smoking, rather than just say, like, oh, I need to quit cold turkey. Yeah, I like that. And I like how you had, like, a big goal that you had, which is be kind to yourself, but then, like, sub goals as well, because, like, having, like, a smaller thing to do is so much more approachable, and it doesn't feel as daunting.
Yeah, and that's why I was thinking, like, obviously I do want to be kinder to myself, but if that was, like, my only goal, then I wouldn't know where to start, and I would have no way of, like, measuring that. But then this way I can see, like, oh, look at these art pieces that I made, and look at all of these other, like, accomplishments that I did for myself. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my goals for this year. So
good. I love that. The other ones that I had, well, one, I want to call my grandparents more because they live in Iowa, and I just need to call them more. Like, I don't talk to them enough, and I know someday, like, if they pass on and, like, I haven't talked to them as much, like, in this stage of my life, like, I would regret it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely talk to them more. And this year has just put so much in perspective. Like, I'm so thankful that they're still alive and, like, fortunately, like, haven't gotten sick, and, like, none of my family has either. But I know, like, not everyone can say that, which is so sad. So I do want to, like, just practice gratitude every day with, like, the things that I have, you know, like, maybe just write down one or two things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm putting that in my bullet journal, my, like,
I was
gratitude
gonna say
list.
that, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I will as well.
Oh, I love that. We are inspiring each other to do different things.
We are.
So great. Did you watch the movie Soul on Disney Plus?
I did, yeah. I just watched it a few nights ago with my family. It was so cute.
Yeah, I watched it last night. I, like, almost cried. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I think it came out
cute.
at just the right time, too, because I feel like people are like, oh, I'm so sick of this. Like, what's even the point? And it's like, no, life is worth living. And I just... Thank you, Pixar. I needed that.
Yes, everyone needed it, and, like, the animation was beautiful.
Oh, it was
the
so
music
good.
was so beautiful. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It'll give you some hope for living.
Yes.
Which sounds depressing to say, but, like,
right.
it really did help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about, like, if you haven't seen it, like, finding your spark kind of in, like, the everyday little moments, I guess. Mm-hmm. Is that how you would describe it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
guess,
saw
yeah.
It definitely hit, like, a deeper level for me than, like, most Pixar movies. Like, my mom was, like, so shocked. She was like, I had to really think about, like, what they were trying to tell me. Because it wasn't just, like, animated characters, like, going on an adventure, like, somewhere. It was, like...
Yeah, it wasn't Toy Story. Like, it
was not Toy Story. Yeah, the whole, like, great before idea and the great beyond. Like, I thought that was just so interesting because I've definitely gotten more into spirituality within, like, the last year. Mm-hmm. And, like, just believing in souls and, like, I don't know, like, how they come about. I just thought it was so interesting, and I loved it. It was cute.
Yeah, and I liked the artistic aspect of it, too. I thought it was a really cool, like, visual depiction of that kind of thing.
I agree. I read somewhere that, like, in Toy Story, like, the animators hadn't really quite figured out how to animate, like, human faces yet. Mm-hmm. So that's why, like, most of the human faces, like, don't exist. Like, they show Andy's face in the first one, but, like, his mom they don't really show, and, like, that kind of thing. But in this movie, and, like, in a couple other movies, like, they show so many people because it's in, like, the New York setting, like, on the street. Yeah. And it actually just showed, like, so much more diversity than any other Pixar movie I'd seen before, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, and it was very well done. I think it was on par, like, the animation was, like, similar to Coco. Have you seen Coco?
Yeah, I love Coco.
I love Coco. It's so good. And that was another one. That was just so well done. Like, artistically, just watching it was like, wow. Like, that takes a lot of work and talent and skill. And I can just, like... It's an entertaining movie aside from that, but, like, I can just appreciate it so much for, like, how much work goes into it.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed it. Everyone go watch it if you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah. Gonna put that in my bullet journal for movies I watched this month.
Ooh, maybe I'll do that as well. You should send me all of your pages that you create. We'll do a swap of ideas because I want to see yours.
Yeah. Maybe we should do like a video or something. We need to do more videos on our YouTube anyway. Maybe we could do a bullet journal flip through.
That would be really cute. Okay, we'll have to plan that. Yeah. Well, do you have any more resolutions that you want to share or anything else to add? I feel like we had such a good conversation about it. I'm really excited now to, like,
I know.
The ball rolling.
This gave me a new energy to, like, really get out there and do these things that I'm talking about. No, I don't really. I don't have anything
we have
else.
New energy.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this podcast, I hope that you got some inspiration from our New Year's resolutions and that you are coming up with some of your own for this year. Let's all accomplish this shit together. Yeah. It'll be good.
And remember to take it as more of an approach rather than an avoidance.
Just and be kind to yourself, like Amanda says.
Treat people with kindness.
Yeah. Yes, the new Harry Styles music video. Can we talk about that? So good. Beautiful. Anyways, yes, treat people with kindness. Treat yourself with kindness. And thank you for listening. We appreciate it. We will definitely have more episodes coming out this semester and this year. So, I'm Ellie.
I'm Amanda.
And this has been Getting There. And we'll talk to you next time.